So, are you surprised or not surprised by the consistency in this Yankees lineup? Let's talk about this one. Hey, gang, I hope you're all doing well. And Yankees won again last night. Good win, 7-0 over the Miami Marlins. They're 9-2 now. And with big contributions from Anthony Volpe, Juan Soto, both went deep at home, 3-run shots. So, and Alex Verdugo's heating up too. It's good to see. It really, really, really is. But are you noticing anything about this lineup? It's not really changing, right? And I wanted to ask you whether you thought it was a good thing or not. And if you were to change it, what would change? Like I talked about, Gleyber Torres at leadoff right now and Anthony Volpe like in the middle of the lineup. And, until that changes, until their performance changes, I should say, Gleyber Torres is seeing more pitches than anybody right now. So it makes sense to have him at the top of the lineup. And Anthony Volpe's hitting the ball more than Gleyber Torres, so it makes sense to have him in the middle of the lineup. Now, Anthony Volpe's more of a stolen base threat. Yes, most definitely. But with that said, the guys that are behind him, Judge, Soto, and whoever else after that, whether it be Rizzo, Stanton, and so on, doesn't matter if they walk or steal a base. I don't know. Because these guys are in a position to drive them in no matter what. So, and this is one reason why I think Gleyber Torres is leadoff right now, and Volpe is either fifth or sixth or whatnot. They're 9-2. It's working, okay. And until something changes, I don't see them changing it. But I am pleasantly surprised by the consistency of the lineup. Now, this is the first time in a long time that the Yankees have had this much depth on their roster, whether it be starting depth, backup depth, bench depth, and so on. So it makes it easier to put forth a consistent lineup, and again, I understand the frustration of a lot of fans. There was so much inconsistency. They call mismanaging and blah, blah, blah with Aaron Boone, right? But with the combination of injuries and the lack of depth on the positional side, how could you have a consistent lineup when you don't have any confidence of the people's ability to drive the guys in, especially when the guys who you rely on as starters are getting hurt, missing 20 games, 40 games, 50 games, and so on, and again, like when you don't have the depth on the starting side or the backup side, how could you put forth a consistent lineup? You can't. So, again, this is my take. I want to know what yours is. This is not for by choice or by fun. This is because it's been for a lack of options. Now we've got options. We've got guys who can credibly come in and still do the job, right? And it's a big reason why the Yankees are 9-2. And their offense, and they're not even firing on all cylinders yet offensively. Okay. And we still have guys to come back. We need Garrett Cole to come back. It's encouraging to see. He threw a catch yesterday, and he felt good afterward. DJ's going to come back. We'll see what role he's going to play when he does. And you've got Tommy Kahnle in the bullpen. You've got Scott Efros in the bullpen, even Trevino. Like, we have reinforcements coming. And I still think they're going to make some more roster moves on the bullpen, especially if they're still being used quite a bit. But that being said, offensively, I can't remember since Aaron Boone's been here where he's had this much depth and this much, quality on the roster and in the lineup to put forth a consistent lineup. And now he does, and they're putting forth a consistent lineup, and it's working. So I want to know your take, by the way. If you're a Yankee fan, you just want to be kept in the loop on anything, you want to have discussions like this, make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't done that yet, okay? And hit all the notifications when you do subscribe. That way you know when I go live, you know exactly when news comes out and everything, okay? I thank you so much for that. I really do. And again, it's this type of stuff that is not necessarily talked about, right? Or using somebody else's talking points as our arguments, which I don't particularly care for, and I'll call it out. So, and which is why, I give you so much information. I want you to be able to think independently, not rely on other people's arguments, especially if you don't know how to explain their arguments or back them up with facts. So, and again, we are a very opinionated fan base. But again, this is a point of interest for a lot of folks, okay? And a point of opinion for a lot of folks. Are you noticing the consistency in the lineup? Because it's not changing really. Very little is it changing. Only changing for the most part on the back end, unless somebody has a day off or something like that. But it's pretty consistent from top to bottom, and it's good. They are winning series. They've won every series they played so far, and hopefully they'll win another one here against the Marlins. So, and I don't see anything changing until either an injury forces it to change, or somebody stops performing and somebody starts performing, and so on and so forth, which is forcing a lineup change, right? So, but you give me your you give me your feedback and your thoughts one way or the other. I want to know what your thoughts are. Okay, and if you were to make a change in the lineup, what would you do? Like, I could see the logic of transitioning Volpe at some point to the leadoff spot. I get that, but the performance has to justify it on Gleyber Torres' end. If he becomes more of an offensive firepower again, then it makes more sense to move him down. But the fact that he's seeing a lot of pitches, there's really no need to move him down right now. Okay, he's forcing the pitchers to work harder. He's not throwing a ton of walks yet, and that's fine. Okay, but he's starting to put the ball in play a little bit more. Not as much as Volpe. Nobody's really hitting as much as Volpe. So, and he's up there with Bobby Witt Jr. in terms of WAR right now. They're like 1 and 2, either in the American League or in all of baseball. So, and that's a good thing. So, and he's, like I said, he's a budding superstar. He really is. But this is one of the things that the Yankees have not had in a long time that they have now. They've got enough personnel to put forth a consistent lineup and ride with it, right? And see how it works. And then let a lack of performance and injury force them to change the lineup, force them to change the structure of the lineup. And until then, why not go with what works? There's no need to tinker with it. Okay, our opinions are just our opinions. They have a team to run. They have a lineup to put forth. They have games to win. Okay, as much as some folks would like to see certain players at the top and not like us here, but I get that. But again, if it's working and they're winning games, why would they change it? That's the question I have as well. So, but you give me your thoughts either way. I'll be back later on with the Yankees lineup. Play the Marlins again in game 2. Let's see who's pitching today. I know it's Carlos Rodon. Yesterday, he's up on Jesus Luzardo. And tonight, it is AJ Puck, who's 0-2 with a 9 ERA against Carlos Rodon, 0-0 with a 2.79 ERA. So, should be a good game. And AJ Puck is a guy that the Yankees have talked about, or Yankee fans have talked about acquiring in trades. Him, Andrew Nardi, and a couple other folks, Tanner Scott, Rogers. So maybe they'll make a move for a pitcher at some point. And maybe the Marlins will become sellers at some point. We don't know yet. I think they're 1-10 right now. So, they could become sellers. But the NL East is nobody's running away with it. And it's still early anyway. But nobody's really dominating in the NL East. So nobody's really out of it. But so let's talk about this consistency in the lineup. Are you surprised? Are you happy? One way or another, give me your opinion. I value your opinion. I want to know what it is no matter what. Talk to you later.